Have you ever felt that silent sting when someone you gave your soul to suddenly turns cold? They see your message but don't reply. They hear your words but pretend you don't exist. It hurts deeply, like betrayal dressed in silence. But what if I told you that their ignorance is not rejection, it's direction? It's the universe whispering to you, look here, teen. They're showing you who they really are. Stop chasing. Start choosing. Remember, diamonds are rare because not everyone can afford to touch them. So why are you weeping over someone who cannot even carry the weight of your light? Rejection is not a punishment. It is protection in disguise. But we are so focused on the closed door that we miss the hand that saved us from walking into fire. Have you ever begged to be kept in someone's life who was secretly draining your peace? You fought for that friendship, cried for that love, prayed for that job, but the silence, the absence, the no you received wasn't cruelty. It was grace, protection you didn't understand yet. Like the time you didn't get that promotion and felt worthless, but months later realized that the boss you wanted to work under was fired for corruption. Or the friend who suddenly stopped calling you only for you to discover they had been betraying you behind your back all along. You see, life saves you from what you think you want because something better is being shaped in the dark. Think about that boy who ignored you after making promises of forever. The one who left your message on read, left your heart on pause. You thought you lost him. You blamed yourself. But did you notice? When he walked away, you finally had space to see the real men who respected you. His rejection was a rescue mission. A sign that you were spared from giving your love to someone who didn't know what to do with it. Like expensive perfume wasted on dusty roads. That is what your attention would have been. Remember when you applied for that dream university? Spent nights working on your portfolio, rehearsing interviews, and they rejected you? You thought your future ended there. But then life led you to a new city, a new job, new friends, and one day you realized this path made you stronger, wilder, more daring than any classroom ever could. The rejection was divine redirection. If they had accepted you, you would have stayed small, safe, comfortable, and average. But rejection forced you to grow. There was a girl I knew. She wanted to marry her boyfriend so desperately. She held on, excused the lies, the coldness, the manipulation. When he finally left her, she thought her world was destroyed. But months later, when she found out he was arrested for fraud, her hands trembled. She realized life ripped him out of her arms before he could ruin her. That heartbreak that broke her down was really her soul being built back up, stronger, wiser, protected. Even in friendships this happens. That best friend who ghosted you when you needed her the most, remember how you cried thinking you weren't enough? But she left space for new souls to enter. People who matched your spirit, lifted you up instead of dragging you down with gossip and jealousy. You were protected. Like a garden that must be cleared of weeds before it can bloom. Sometimes rejection comes from life itself. The business that failed, the loan that was denied, the house you couldn't afford. You thought you were cursed. But had you forced those things to happen, you would have been buried in stress, debt, and anxiety. Rejection saved your mind, your sanity. Like a wise friend you didn't listen to, life protected you, and even in the smallest things, the friend who cancelled dinner, the colleague who ignored your idea in the meeting. These are gentle whispers from life. Not here, not now, not this way. These pauses create room for the perfect moment, the right audience, the grand stage that matches your greatness. Rejection is a sacred filter. Only what truly belongs to you can remain. Everything else must fall away, no matter how much you beg it to stay. When someone blocks you, ignores you, mocks you, leaves you, they are playing their role. They are the doorkeepers of destiny. Their no is heaven's way of pushing you towards a better yes. Like a mother pulling a child away from fire while he cries to touch it, life drags you away from harm when you are too blind to see it. Rejection is protection, a bitter gift wrapped in wisdom, a blessing disguised as pain. You are not being destroyed. You are being saved. Your value is not measured by their attention. It never was and it never will be. But the world taught you the wrong equation, that the number of messages you receive, the likes on your posts, the calls you get, the attention you attract define your worth. What a lie. If they didn't reply, you felt unworthy. If they forgot your birthday, you questioned your importance. If they left you unseen, you thought you didn't matter. But darling, they are not the mirror you should look into. Their ignorance does not reduce your greatness. Their blindness does not dim your light. A diamond stays priceless even if the blind cannot see its shine. Think of the sun. Does it care who stares at it or who hides behind the curtain? It rises, burns, gives life, whether the world watches or not. Your worth is like that sun. You are meant to shine with or without applause. I remember a woman who dressed up in the finest clothes, wore the brightest lipstick, hoping her husband would notice. Day after day, he didn't. His eyes were on his phone, his mind elsewhere. She cried, thinking she was losing value, until one day she realized, why wait for him to validate her beauty? She stood before her own mirror, smiled at herself, and whispered, I am enough. From that day, she dressed for herself, laughed for herself, lived for herself, made love to herself, lived for herself, lived for her dead. She went on a date. She called him Shimmy. She called him Shimmy. She called him Shimmy. She called, and you know what? She started glowing from inside. The world noticed, but she no longer cared. In the office, this happens too. You give your best ideas in meetings, work late hours, go the extra mile, but the boss praises someone else. You burn with frustration. Don't they see my effort? But their lack of attention does not define your skill. You are growing, sharpening, mastering your craft, and the right people, the right moment will come. I knew a young man whose app idea was rejected by 5 investors, laughed at, ignored, but he believed in his creation. He didn't let their blindness kill his dream. 2 years later, that same app sold for millions. Who measured his value now? Friendships tell the same story. You give kindness, time, support, but they stop calling, leave you out, make you feel replaceable. But you're not furniture to be moved when convenient. You are the house itself. Strong, unshakable, needed. Their absence is not your deficiency. It is their inability to recognize gold when they see it. Like those who walked past Van Gogh's paintings when he was alive, calling them worthless. Today the world treasures them. His value didn't change. The world simply caught up. Even strangers can teach you this. You post a photo, expecting likes, comments, hearts. When they don't come, your mood drops. But remember this, your beauty, your story, your essence does not shrink because someone scrolls past. The rose in the forest blooms even when no eye sees it. You are that rose, rare, unseen, yet glorious. Not every eye deserves to behold you. Parents too sometimes fail to see this. A daughter studies, achieves, excels, but they compare her to others, make her feel small, but their words are not the final truth. A caterpillar is ugly to those who do not know it will become a butterfly. Your process is not yet complete, but your worth is eternal. Like the stars that shine even when clouds cover the sky, your value is born in you, not in their gaze, their praise, their voice. Whether they cheer or mock, stay or leave, lift you or break you, you remain precious, like the ocean, majestic, whether ships sail upon it or not. Like the moon, pulling tides even when the world sleeps. You do not rise and fall on the weight of their attention. You are constant, whole, enough. Their distance makes room for the right ones. But the heart, oh the heart, it doesn't understand this truth right away. When they stop calling, when they stop replying, when their chair at your table becomes empty, you feel pain. You feel confusion. You feel like you've lost a part of yourself. But listen closely. Sometimes the greatest gift life gives you is an empty space. Because only in that space can something better arrive. The wrong people must leave for the right people to enter. A garden cannot bloom if the weeds are never removed. Think of that friend you begged to stay, the one you laughed with, cried with, shared secrets with, and suddenly, without warning, they became distant, cold, different. You blamed yourself. You wondered what you did wrong. But have you noticed? When they left, you met someone new. Someone who listens, who cares, who lifts you instead of draining you. Had that old friend stayed, there would have been no space for this pure soul to walk into your life. Their distance created room for genuine connection. Remember that relationship that almost broke you? The one you thought was forever. You gave your heart, your trust, your soul. But they pulled away, ignored your calls, made you feel unwanted. You cried yourself to sleep thinking you would never find love again. But time passed, and suddenly there was someone else. Someone who spoke to your soul, not just your body. Someone who saw you, loved you without conditions. The distance wasn't your loss. It was life clearing the path for this new blessing. Like the tide pulling back before the ocean brings forth fresh waves. It happens in jobs too. You were rejected from the company you dreamed of. The manager never called back. They chose someone else. You felt devastated, worthless. But if they hadn't said no, you would have missed the better opportunity. The one you didn't see coming. The company that valued you. The boss that mentored you. The project that made you shine. Their distance created space for the career you deserved. Even family sometimes creates this lesson. A cousin, a sibling, a relative suddenly turns cold. They stop inviting you. Stop including you. You feel abandoned. But have you noticed? In their absence, you found strength in friends who became family. In your loneliness, you discovered your independence. You traveled alone, learned new skills, became fierce. Their distance gave you the gift of self-discovery. Think about your dreams. You wanted to join that team, that circle, that club. But they ignored you. They said you weren't good enough. It hurt. But because they left you out, you created your own path, your own style, your own audience, and soon they were the ones knocking on your door, wanting to collaborate with the very person they once ignored. Their distance was the universe setting you apart for greatness. Even strangers play this role. That crush who never noticed you in school, the neighbor who never smiled, the colleague who never invited you to lunch. You thought you were invisible, but because they created space, you turned inward. You discovered hobbies, books, art, passions you never knew you had. Their distance pushed you back into yourself, and you found gold there. Sometimes God allows the wrong ones to walk away, so that you stand alone long enough to recognize your own power. So that you stop begging, stop chasing, and start choosing. Like a queen who clears her palace before the right guests arrive, life clears your circle before your blessings come. The people who left you did not rob you, they freed you. They made room for peace, for purpose, for joy. For the rare ones who see you, respect you, cherish you, their distance is not an empty space. It is a divine preparation, a sacred pause before the right ones appear. Silence is their loudest confession. But we are too busy waiting for words, explanations, apologies that will never come. We forget that silence itself is an answer. When someone stops calling, stops texting, stops showing up, not because they are busy, but because they have chosen not to make you a priority, that silence screams what their lips will never dare to say. I am not for you. I cannot match you. I do not value you enough to stay. And in that silent confession, your freedom is hidden. There was a girl who loved a man deeply. She sent him long messages, late night texts, sweet reminders. But he started replying with short words, then no words at all. Days turned into weeks, no reply. But she kept waiting, thinking maybe he was busy, maybe he was stressed. But his silence was speaking. I've lost interest. I don't care enough to respond. And when she finally stopped waiting for a text and started living her life, she felt peace return. His silence was the closure she didn't want, but deeply needed. Think of friendships too. That friend who used to check on you every day, share every joy, cry over every tear, and suddenly they go quiet. No explanation, no fight, just distance. At first you wonder, did I do something wrong? But then you realize their silence is their truth. They do not value the friendship like you did. Their silence tells you they have moved on, and maybe you should too. The absence of words is not absence of meaning. It is the clearest truth of all. Even in family, silence speaks. A parent who doesn't ask how you are, a sibling who forgets your victories. They may never say the words, but their silence says, you are not my priority. It hurts, but it also sets you free to stop chasing approval, to build your own path where your worth is not based on their recognition. Their silence is the confession that they cannot love you the way you need to be loved. In the workplace too, this happens. You give ideas, suggestions, effort, but the boss says nothing. No feedback, no praise, no criticism, just silence. That silence is louder than any rejection. It says, you are replaceable here. We do not see you. And that painful truth can wake you up, push you to seek a place where your light is seen, your voice matters, your talent blooms. Silence becomes the sign to leave. Even strangers confess through silence. The person you helped who never thanked you, the one you defended who never defended you back, Their silence tells you everything. I took your kindness for granted. I expected it, not valued it. And this bitter confession makes you wiser, stronger, more careful with your energy. Sometimes people use silence as punishment. They withdraw, refuse to speak, hoping you will beg, apologize, bend. But their silence shows their insecurity, their need for control. You don't need to break under it. Their silence confesses their fear, not your failure. And sometimes silence is cowardice. They don't have the courage to tell you the truth, to say they don't love you, to admit they betrayed you. So they stay quiet, thinking silence will spare your heart. But it doesn't. It burns. Yet in that burning you find clarity. This is not your person, not your friend, not your tribe. Even life itself sometimes goes silent. You pray, ask for signs, beg for answers, and there is nothing. But that silence is speaking too. You wait, grow, trust. Silence does not mean nothing is happening. It means the answer is forming where you cannot see it yet. When someone gives you silence instead of truth, believe the silence, listen to it. It is the loudest confession of all. It saves you from guessing, from hoping, from holding on to illusions. Their silence is their truth. Their silence is your permission to let go. Their silence is your power to move forward. The universe sends signs, not coincidences. But most people are too distracted to notice. They scroll, they rush, they complain, but they forget to see the whispers. Life is giving them every day. Nothing happens by accident. Not the people who leave you, not the ones who stay, not the friend who betrays you. These are not random moments. They are divine clues, wrapped in disguise, telling you where to go, who to trust, what to avoid, what to embrace. But because we label them as coincidence, we miss their power. Like the time you randomly thought of an old friend, someone you hadn't spoken to in years, and the next day they called. It wasn't coincidence. It was energy shifting, the universe pulling strings to realign your paths. Or when you missed that bus, got angry, and later found out that bus broke down on the road. Was that bad luck? No. That was protection. A small sign that life is always working behind the scenes for you. I knew a woman who applied for a job she wanted so badly. She dreamed of the title, the salary, the prestige, but after the interview, silence. No offer. She cried for days, thinking she had failed. But 3 months later, the company went bankrupt. What she thought was rejection was protection. A sign that her path was meant to rise elsewhere. Soon after, she got an even better offer at a firm that valued her skills and grew her career. That rejection was no coincidence. It was a hidden blessing. Even in relationships, the universe speaks. That man who ghosted you after months of talking, who suddenly vanished without reason. At first you felt broken, worthless, used. But later you discovered he was not who he claimed to be. That distance saved you from deeper pain. His disappearance was not accident. It was life's way of removing what would have poisoned your heart. The universe whispers, you deserve better, but often we ignore it, clinging to what was meant to leave. Signs appear in friendships too. The friend who grew distant just when your life started changing. The one who became silent when you succeeded. That wasn't random. The universe was clearing your circle, making space for new people who could match your energy, who celebrated you, not envied you. Like pruning a tree to help it grow, life cuts away what is blocking your light. Even places carry signs. You walk into a room and feel uncomfortable, heavy, restless. You meet a stranger and something in you feels unsafe, unsure. That is not just feeling, it is a sign. Your body senses the energy that your mind ignores. But when you trust these signals, you avoid wrong turns. You stay safe. You protect your peace. Sometimes you lose things, a phone, a document, money, and curse your luck. But later you realize that missing things saved you from something worse. The lost wallet that made you stay home the day that accident happened. The broken car that kept you from the storm. These small mishaps are the universe adjusting your path. Even your dreams carry signs. That repeated image, that strange warning, that feeling you wake with. The universe is speaking when your logic sleeps. A woman once dreamt of losing her voice the night before a crucial meeting and woke up realizing she was about to trust the wrong business partner. She changed her decision, saved her company, saved her peace. The dream was no accident. And what about timing? You miss a train but meet someone at the station who changes your life. You arrive late but avoid danger. You lose an opportunity but discover a new passion. These are not coincidences. They are signs that your life is being shaped by a wisdom bigger than your plans. The universe is always sending messages, always rearranging, always guiding you closer to the destiny you deserve. But only if you dare to listen, only if you open your eyes, only if you believe that nothing is random and everything is writing the story you are meant to live. So now you see, when someone ignores you, it is not the end of your worth, but the beginning of your awakening. When they go silent, when they disappear, when they pull away without reason, it is not your loss, it is your liberation. You're not a second option waiting for validation. You're not a lonely heart begging to be seen. You are the prize. You are the standard. You are the rare gem that not every eye is worthy to behold. Remember this, sometimes the greatest favor life can do for you is to make people walk away because your table is too royal for unworthy guests. Their rejection was not the end, it was the redirection. Their silence was not an insult, it was your protection. The moment they turned away was the exact moment your true life began. Because queens are never made in crowded rooms. They are made in the silence of being misunderstood, overlooked, ignored. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. They are formed under pressure, in darkness, in time. You are that diamond. You were never meant to be easily seen, easily understood, easily held. So when someone distances themselves from you, don't run after them. When they don't reply, don't beg. When they give you silence, give them space. Because the ones who are meant for you will not make you doubt yourself. The ones who truly see your worth will not make you question your place in their life. The right souls will not ignore the energy you bring. They will rise to meet it. They will stay. They will choose you loudly, proudly, openly, not in secrecy, not in hesitation. Never forget, rejection is divine direction. Pain is preparation. Silence is revelation. Distance is protection. And loss is creation of room for something greater. You are not being emptied. You are being prepared to be filled with something bigger than you have ever imagined. The universe is not punishing you, it is positioning you. So let the wrong ones leave, let the doors close, let the silence fall. Because when the noise is gone, you will finally hear the voice of your destiny calling you. Let their distance sharpen your focus. Let their silence strengthen your self-worth. Let their rejection remind you that you are not for everyone. And that's your power, not your problem. Even the sun cannot be looked at directly by every eye. Even gold is ignored by those who cannot afford its price. And even the rarest flower blooms without an audience in the hidden forests of the world. But its fragrance remains priceless. You are that flower. You are that gold. You are that sun. So rise anyway, glow anyway, love yourself anyway, with or without their attention, with or without their approval, with or without their applause. Your value was never in their eyes. It was always in your soul. You were born rare, born powerful, born to break every limit they tried to place on you, born to walk alone if needed, until the right ones arrive who match your frequency, your fire, your light. And remember what every queen, every legend, every warrior learned in their loneliness. I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. Your story is not over because someone left. It is just beginning. Because when life removes what you thought you needed, it is making space for what you truly deserve. And what you deserve is far greater than you ever dreamed. Stay unbothered. Stay powerful. Stay silent when you need to. Because the loudest roar is the one that comes from within. You don't have to prove your worth. You only have to know it. You don't have to convince anyone to love you. You only have to love yourself enough to let go of those who don't. Because when you stand tall in your truth, when you finally stop running after what was never meant for you, that is the moment when the universe opens the doors you were truly made for. And every person who ignored you will wish they hadn't.